Let's finish up on a story. We got, lives to live. Now, a few years back, maybe 4 years ago now, I was performing in the Amsterdam Hilton. Now, in the basement of the Amsterdam Hilton, they have a comedy club, and I was there for 2 weeks. I had 2 days off in my 2 weeks, and I found out on the outskirts of Amsterdam, there's a great big place called the Porn Warehouse, which is like a great big Walmart. So on my day off, I thought, fuck Anne Frank's place, and I went out to the Porn Warehouse. Now, when I go grocery shopping, I take a little plastic basket with me. Porn Warehouse took a trolley. It still had the kid seat, which I thought was odd. Now, I'm loading my trolley full of every bit of porno paraphernalia I can get. I go up towards the till, and there's a massive wall covered in dildos. Now, if you're with your mates, what would you do? Sword fight! But I was by myself, so I just did that scene from Star Wars where there was like the floating ball with the... Now, there's a smaller wall, but just as impressive, covered in rubber vibrating vaginas. Now, whenever you're with your mates and you see one of those, you go, who the fuck would use one of those, eh? I got myself the Jenna Jameson rubber vibrating vagina. On the side of the box it said, vibrate so as to give realistic sensation. Realistic if you're fucking a chick with Parkinson's, but not realistic in the full sense. Now I've gone back to my hotel and decided if I'm going to have this wank, it'll be the wank. It's going to be the wank that when I've got dementia, I'll be sitting in a nursing home going, I fucked her up, a cunt. I fucked it. Wednesday's pudding day. So I put all my porn down one side of the bed, I put porn on the telly. I got the rubber cunner, had a vibrating egg that went in the end with a cord with a remote control. I lubed up my cock and I proceeded to fuck it. Now, it felt okay, but I couldn't really enjoy myself because the only thought going through my head was, if you die right now, this is how they'll tell your mum they found you. Now, as I've already mentioned, I don't have a big cock. I think the rubber cunt was faulty because as I'm fucking it, the latex on the top just sort of tears and the egg falls. Take it back to the shop, slap it on the counter and go, look at that. I bought that an hour ago. Went home and fucked it. Now that cunt's broken. Now, I still had a lot of lube, I still had a lot of porn, and I still had a vibrating egg. So I did what anyone in this room would do. I lubed that egg up and shoved it up my ass. It's now sitting up against a gland called the prostate gland, the male G-spot. It felt terrific. I was enjoying myself so much, I was already thinking of other things to shove up my ass once I got back to London. I slapped my cock a couple of times and I jizzed all over my chest, and now I've got jizz all over my chest, lube all over my cock, egg hanging out my ass, broken cunt in the corner. I gotta tell you, I've looked better. Now, you know that bit of pain that goes through your soul after you've had a wank and you got a bit of cum on your hand? And you go, what did you do that for? Well, I still had an egg hanging out of my ass. Safe to say I wanted to kill myself, so I start slapping the porn off the bed, turn the porn off the telly. I go to whip the egg out of my ass, the fucking cord snaps off. Not only does it snap off, but the two plastic shells of the egg slightly break apart and are now pinching against me colon. Now, your first thought is, well, don't worry about this, Jim, you can shit this out. But your arsehole knows what shit is, and it knows what plastic egg is, and it don't play cricket in this situation. Now, I don't know if you all know a lot about your colons, and nor should you, but they're made up of several channels that pump poo through. Now, I've lubed up this finger and this thumb, and I've gone up my ass after the egg. With every grab, I've pushed it further and further and further up my colon. It's now up to channel 5. My next thought was to get a whole lot of high fibre food, pressure, very similar to when Augustus Gloop got stuck in the chocolate tube in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I was working on Wonka method at the time. I could have done with an Oompa Loompa with a plunger. Now, as many of you may have already realised, I'm not a doctor. I didn't know that high fibre food made your poo sloppy. I thought the grains and stuff held together to make some type of super poo. Turns out the protein makes your poo hard. Ironically, I should have been eating boiled eggs. Instead, I had a shit that went around the egg. I don't feel like you're all getting into this story. So let's jump forward to day number 3. I decided if it was up my ass for another day, I was going to go to hospital. My biggest fear was going to hospital in a foreign country with my accent and going, you'll never guess what's happened. But being Holland, there's a good chance you could go, you have an egg up your ass? Go join the queue with the other Australians. On day number 3, I had a Chinese dinner. And I kept my chopsticks. Now, I've gone back to the hotel. I've bent over. At this moment, I've thought to myself, you probably should have gone to the Anne Frank Museum. I put one chopstick on top of the egg in a crowbarring fashion. The other chopstick I used to widen the hole. In one motion, I snapped this egg out of my ass. Followed by 2 feet of shit. It was at this moment I thought to myself, should have done that in the bathroom.